Hello all, I'm Wadabra. Welcome to the first episode of Arches. The blurb on the back of the box goes as follows. In March 2020, boyfriends Cameron and Devin arrive in the ghost town of Echo to conduct a paranormal investigation. It has been 5 years since the mass hysteria supposedly left the town completely abandoned. While it does seem empty at first, they soon realize that something evil still lurks in Echo. Evil enough that it's kept the horrors alive. So it sounds like we're in for a good time. Arches is a standalone story that takes place after the events of Echo, and being familiar with the predecessor will enhance your experience here, although it is not necessary to enjoy it. Also, be sure to stick around after the after reading for some behind-the-scenes outtakes and some bloopers. And as always, content warnings, chapter times, and all the various links, including a link to my Patreon where you can support what I do here directly, can be found in the description below. Let's get started. Running was something he was always good at. He was always the fastest in his class. Just last year, he came in second in the 200-meter dash at the state track meet. Just 8 months ago, a coach from the University of Pueblo approached him about joining the track and field team after graduation. Just last month, he realized he was the fastest freshman on the team. Just last week, he started to hang out with older men who could get him into Pueblo's gay bars. Just 3 days ago, one of these men spiked his drink. Just 2 days ago, he woke up in restraints. Just yesterday, he was being tortured. Just minutes ago, he escaped. But now, he's realizing that it doesn't matter. Everywhere he looks is only burning desert. There's no one. His attempts to scream for help matter even less because his voice is broken. He can barely wheeze after what that man did to him. And now, his empty droning sounds are being swallowed up by the desert. All the while, the heavy steps scraping through the gravel behind him keep coming. The man isn't in a hurry at all. Running was something he was always good at. But now, when it matters most, he can't do it. The fastest freshman at a D1 university is no faster than an old druggie. He definitely would have been if he'd eaten anything over the past 3 days. If his ribs weren't broken. If he could see straight. The man had given him something. He'd told him it was for the pain, but the pain is still there, and now he can't even stand. His balance is shot, and he keeps stumbling until he's just crawling on all fours. It's now that he realizes that the man had let him get away on purpose. This makes him realize something else. He's going to die. Tired from the drug, from the past 3 days of constant fear and torture, and from trying to run, he collapses. He lays there in the dirt, sobbing, even though tears don't come out. He'd run out of those after all the things the man did to him. The light above is blinding. He wonders if this is God. His mother is a devout Catholic, and even though he never believed, he promises the light that he'll become a believer right here and now if it saves him. The crunching gravel footsteps get closer.
need to go.
The footsteps come even closer.
I have a meet.
There's a childish, high-pitched laugh.
Think I must have hit you one too many times. All you do is talk about your fucking track bullshit now.
The huge form moves closer.
You know that shit don't matter no more, right?
His chest aches with overwhelming sadness and despair. And it's not just because he's about to die. It's because his mom won't know what happened to him. And it's because the last text message he saw from her said, "Love you, bug," with 10 hearts and kissing emojis. At the time, he just rolled his eyes and didn't respond. He thought he'd be able to do that the next day, or the day after that. He hopes his mom is right about God. He hopes he can see her from the other side, just so he can respond somehow. But there's only... Cameron holds onto his seat tightly, the Coyote's teeth rattling together with every pothole that they hit. His boyfriend, Devin, doesn't seem bothered at all. The bear has one paw on the wheel with an elbow hanging out the window. He had been singing loudly to the music playing through the car's Bluetooth speakers, and it wasn't until cell phone service was lost that Devin finally seemed to notice Cameron's unease. "You all right, babe?"
I think you could go a little slower.
"What?
Go slower!
Why? This is the kind of terrain this baby was built for."
Okay, but...
Cameron's voice bounces as they hit yet another deep groove in the nearly destroyed road.
We don't even know what's around any of these bends. What if it just drops off and we go down a ravine or something?
That's what the roll bars are for, honey.
And I'm pretty sure I'm about to chip a tooth.
Oh, come on. You gotta admit there's something nice about feeling the road. Cameron doesn't respond and goes on clutching at his seat. Devin does slow down a bit, though, more carefully maneuvering around the most broken up parts of the road.
What happened to the road anyway? It's only been, 5 years?
Flash floods, according to what I read online. Obviously, no one's around for upkeep, so this is what happens.
Oh yeah, I forgot how this state works. Dry as hell until a wall of watery death comes down the road during monsoon season.
The Coyote tenses up as the bear makes another smooth but still sudden turn.
And it's even hotter than I remember.
How are you a coyote, Cameron? This is your climate.
You know better than to say that. Just because I'm built for it doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah. But you hate it in Fort Allen, too.
It doesn't get ungodly hot there, though. You can at least deal with it.
Well, the transfer to Bonneville City is looking good, so you won't have to deal with it much longer.
Milder weather would be nice, I guess.
Devin grins. Nice weather, nice scenery, and nicer people.
Everyone's a Mormon.
Which is why they're nice.
The ones living down here aren't.
There's a big difference between the fundamentalists and the
Normal ones? The ones that baptize dead people and wear Jesus jammies under their clothes?
Dev shrugs. Most religions are weird when you break them down like that.
I'm just saying, whether it's magic garments or prairie dresses, they came from the same fucked up place.
Devin doesn't say anything, and that's when Cameron realizes how bitchy he must sound right now.
Sorry, I just worry how they might look at us. It's harder to gauge people when they're all fake nice.
Yeah, that's true. But look! Dev nods his head towards Cameron's window, and the coyote follows his gaze. The rocky, uneven landscape has opened up to a wide expanse of blue. That's Lake Emma, which means Echo is... The bear looks ahead, and the first thing that Cameron sees is a tall, rusty sign with letters on the top that he can't quite read from this distance. Below it is a small, shabby building, and beyond it are a few smaller, even shabbier buildings. Cameron wasn't sure what he'd feel like when he first saw the town. If the coyote really is what Devin thinks he is, then right now he should be feeling all the awful, evil things that supposedly happened here. Those small, rundown buildings should be exuding the memories of their past, which would then be projected into his mind somehow. But Cameron feels... nothing. Of course, he kind of knew that this would be the case, but he'd never been to a place that was famously haunted like Echo before. Cameron was well aware that the things he saw were manifested by his own mind, and there really was no reason for him to give it fuel by going to someplace supposedly haunted. So he had been worried, but just a bit. Dev had asked him in the past to go on these amateur paranormal investigations with him, all because the coyote could see things. He'd had to remind Dev that the proper word he was looking for was hallucinate. After that, Dev got the message pretty quickly, and then stopped asking. But just because Devin stopped asking doesn't mean they stopped talking about his interests. And it didn't take long for Cameron to realize that there was a lot more to Devin's interests in ghosts than just dumb fun. And even though he'd refused to entertain Devin's psychic bullshit, the bear still took care of him. He'd done so much for the coyote that Cameron was embarrassed to think about it sometimes. So, when Dev got this chance to go to Echo, the place he'd wanted to go to the most, Cameron decided he had to go as well. He's doing this for Dev, to show his appreciation for everything that the bear had done for him. The only problem was, Devin had been trying to make this seem more like a vacation of sorts, like Cameron wouldn't be doing any investigations at all. And for that reason, he would need to talk to the bear and let him know that he was willing to do this for real, at least within reason. He also needed to tell him why he didn't like doing this, and that part might be hard.
Doesn't look so bad for a ghost town, I mean.
Looks can be deceiving. Hang on, gonna pull over for a sec.
Why?
Want to scout out the lake a bit before dark. And I also gotta take a massive leak. Cameron, who just wants to get into town so he can be sure that he doesn't feel anything, tries his best not to sigh. He isn't worried about things like ghosts. Rather, he's worried about his own brain and what it might do in this situation. The road becomes smoother and newer looking as they pull up to the lake. They were trying to turn this reservoir into a recreational spot right when it all happened. They both get out of the Jeep, Cameron stretching his legs gratefully.
That's too bad. Looks kinda nice.
Yeah, this place has had a long string of bad luck.
Bad luck is one way to put it.
Hold that thought. I'm gonna pee. Dev waddles away, clearly having held it until he almost couldn't anymore. Cameron shakes his head, clearly remembering all the rest stops they'd passed on the interstate. With a sigh, Cameron leans up against the Jeep, staring out across the lake. This really isn't bad at all so far. Sure, they weren't in the town yet, but all those dreams he'd had, all those terrible feelings, they seem silly now. It's just a small former town with a sad history. If his brain was going to manifest something out of this, that something would just be sad. Cameron's always known that his hallucinations weren't real. He'd known that since he was a kid, after he'd first saw a monster in a raincoat in his trailer home. He also knows that ghosts aren't real either. But Devin believes, or at least he wants to believe. He wants it so badly, and he thinks Cameron can see them. Cameron knows that there's something extremely wrong with what could be a disorder being used like this. Devin is also aware of this, painfully aware. In fact, Cameron was able to tell days in advance that Dev was going to ask about taking him on this trip. And yeah, this is wrong. But the bear doesn't even think that Cameron is mentally ill. Or at least that's how it comes off to the Coyote. Devin just doesn't understand how it feels to struggle with reality, to have these problems and never get a proper diagnosis. That, and Cameron never really told him what it was like. So how could he understand? Of course, he'd told him a little bit, but he'd always been worried in the back of his mind that Dev would leave him if he told him everything. So Dev had taken those snippets of insight into Cameron's psyche and somehow interpreted it as him being gifted. So he couldn't blame the bear. Sometimes what he sees does seem to have a deeper meaning, like there's more to it than just mental health. But isn't that just the nature of various mental disorders? Not recognizing the illness for what it is? Cameron just knows that there's something wrong with him, and there always has been. They'd been together for over 5 years at this point, and Dev had seen Cameron at his worst, at his absolute craziest. And somehow he'd stuck around and still believed the Coyote was just a normal guy with some personal issues. Cameron hugs himself a little tighter, realizing that now is probably the best time to really talk about it. And then, after this, they can have a fresh start together in Bonneville. Phew, I am at least 3 pounds lighter after that.
You know, while I don't mind taking a piss in the wilderness, I'm not doing anything more than that.
Yeah, I was kinda hoping that there would be a porta potty or two around here. But it looks like we'll have to dig some holes.
Dev!
Whoa! Just kidding, babe. We can drive to the rest stop. What's wrong? The Coyote pauses, trying to get into the mindset that this sure-to-be uncomfortable conversation is going to require.
Just give me a sec.
Cameron sees the bear's demeanor change instantly. Oh, okay. But while I'm giving you that sec, I'm sorry for teasing you and being all gross. I know this isn't really where you want to be right now, and I was just trying to lighten the mood. And you know it's because I love you.
Jesus Christ, stop!
Devin goes quiet and swallows, the sound loud enough to almost be comical. Then there's a pause, and though Cameron tries to keep a straight face, the tension just seems to break all on its own.
I would much rather hear you make poop jokes than act like that. It's so weird.
What? Being considerate?
Sort of. You are considerate, just not in that weird, anxious way.
Well, sue me for wanting to be careful. I just don't want to say something stupid and...
Devin, just listen for a minute. I know you haven't said it, but let's just get it out in the open that we both know I'm here for more than company. I'm not that stupid.
Ah.
And I just want to say that I don't think this is a good idea because what I have is some kind of problem, not an ability.
I know. I shouldn't think of it that way. But I researched it, and I just don't think it lines up with you having a mental... Dev cuts himself off as Cameron sighs deeply.
Please don't.
I'm sorry.
I mean, you're right that we don't know exactly what my problem is. I just know it's not good. But what's important is if this helps you, whether I think it's real or not, you've done a lot for me. And I want to be able to do something for you.
No, what I think doesn't matter. What's most important is...
So, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be your psychic for the weekend.
Wait. Really?
Dev, I'm not spending the whole time role-playing like we're having a good, innocent time in that murder town.
But I don't want to make you do something you don't...
Oh, I want to. I might not like it, but I want to do it. If only for you.
Cam.
Nope. I've made my decision, and I'm doing it. But just this once.
If you're sure. But please, don't put me ahead of your...
And I did some research on that forum you linked me to a few years back. So my sixth sense is primed and ready.
That seems to finally snap Devin out of his reluctance, and slight annoyance at getting cut off every sentence. Wait. Seriously? There were so many people like you on that forum. Did you?
Listen. I want you to find your answers. I really do. But I think the worst thing I could do is lie to make you feel better. I'm going to be completely honest about everything.
Cameron leans up against the Jeep.
Whether or not I see something.
Of course. That's what I want.
And that's why you shouldn't be getting your hopes up right now. I'm just telling you that I'm going to try.
The bear stares at Cameron for a few seconds, just smiling.
What?
I'm just glad that I met you, and that we're together, and that you're here with me. Devin wraps an arm around Cameron as he too leans against the Jeep, pulling the coyote into his side. But seriously, if you ever feel like, I don't know, you're just not into it, let me know.
Well, as long as you're not expecting anything, I think it'll be all right.
Yeah. Devin goes on grinning, and Cameron narrows his eyes.
Because I'm getting the feeling you're expecting a lot.
Devin pauses, seeming to think. Well, I'm also happy that you're being more open like this. I'd always felt like you didn't want to talk about it. Cameron also thinks.
I guess I just didn't want to be told that what I see must mean something. You know?
Yeah, that would get old pretty fast. But since we're talking about it now, does it not? Like, some of the things you mentioned don't make sense. Like that raincoat creature. But what about your old friend who, you know...
Got shot in the head? After I hallucinated that someone shot him in the head?
Yeah. That one.
This is what I'm talking about. You and all of us, really, like to see meaning in everything. That we have a purpose in life, a reason. Reason, purpose, and the meaning of life mean nothing to the universe. Everything just is. whether it has meaning is up to us. Yes, it's weird that I hallucinated the way that he would die, but he was also involved in things that could have led to that. I knew he'd been dealing drugs in a really risky way, so I knew his life was in danger, and I was on fucking ketamine. All the reason is there.
Well, Dev shifts around, clearly uncomfortable while trying hard not to look that way. I get that, but there's a lot of other examples I could bring up. Maybe it's coincidence, but at some point, don't you have to wonder if maybe it's something else?
Of course I have. What always worries me about this paranormal stuff you're into and the afterlife and all that, it reminds me of my mom.
Dev doesn't say anything, just waiting and listening.
You know, towards the end, right before I left, she was usually amped up on something to stay awake for her 3 jobs, whether it was amphetamines or meth. She barely slept. We had this box fan in our trailer, and one day after she turned it on, she asked me if I could hear something talking from the fan.
Cameron had debated on whether or not to give Devin all the details about his mother, but he feels like he needs to say it. If only so that Devin would have some explanation as to why.
I said no, but she sat next to it and listened, and eventually had this huge epiphany that it was God. And she did that for weeks. That's almost all she did when she was home, listening to the fan talk to her. I'm not sure what all it was saying to her. I don't even think I really understood what was going on. I just knew that sometimes stim addicts did that kind of stuff, especially when they don't sleep, you know? But then she started to look for specific shapes, arches, and half circles. This voice told her that she could get into heaven if she passed under the right one. But the voice also told her that the devil would trick her with fake ones to make the real one harder to find. She pointed these out to me, how there were so many, and yeah, they were there, but when you look for these patterns for something as simple as the shape of an arch.
Cameron traces a finger along the arch of the wheel well he's leaning against.
You're gonna find them. Eventually, she told me everything was warped. I guess she was so fucked up that these shapes just popped out at her, like her brain was highlighting them and she couldn't ignore them. On the last day, she told me that even I looked like an arch and that she thought I had been damned to hell. She looked completely done. She told me she'd be back to save me, and then just walked out the trailer. A few hours later, she drowned trying to swim under a bridge, and everyone in the trailer park kind of saw it as just another delusional druggie getting themselves accidentally killed.
Cameron had told Devin his mom had drowned in a river while on drugs, but he'd never explained it in all of its chilling detail. And the bear just wraps his arm tighter around Cameron.
But I think it was a suicide. She was just so tired of her shitty life that she bet on that bridge being the arch that would lead her to heaven one way or another. So that's why I worry about following these patterns, even if it's just something like looking for UFOs or ghosts. Like, yeah, the meth and lack of sleep pushed her over the edge, but is there something genetic there too? My dad had problems too. What if I'm predisposed to it? I thought drugs were making it worse, but I haven't used since the 2nd month after I met you, and I still see shit sometimes. I mean, whatever is going on with me, it's stable, but I wonder if that'll last.
Devin clears his throat. I would never let that happen to you. I know I say stupid shit about it, but I know it can be dangerous, and I'm always looking out for you.
Honestly, it's nice to hear that, because just letting my mom sit next to a fan for 3 hours straight every day feeding on her delusions, was the dumbest thing I've ever done. But I was high on my own drug of choice because I just didn't care. The thing is that even through the hell that she was in, she cared. I took too much a few times, and even though she was listening to her fan in her own world, sticking post-it notes to all the shapes she saw, she still noticed right away when my breathing wasn't right. I woke up to her spraying Narcan up my nose. It counteracts opioid overdose. But the thing is, my mom didn't like opioids because they made her nauseous. So that means she got those nasal sprays just for me, just in case, even when I thought she was too absorbed in her own world to care. So it hurts to think about that night, how I just let her walk out of the trailer like that.
Cameron takes another deep breath. He hadn't planned to talk about that last part. It had just come out.
Sorry, I really wasn't planning to go into all that.
Dude, do not be sorry.
But it's part of why I am the way that I am. I know my symptoms don't perfectly match up with what you research on the internet, but they're close enough. And honestly, maybe you're right. Maybe there's more after we die, and somehow I can help you find it. But if things go south, and if something's wrong with me, just pull me back. Seeing the shape of an arch, remembering all the markers she put on them, it's like a reminder of what happened to her and what could happen to me.
Wordlessly, Devin pulls Cameron into a hug, and the coyote presses his head against his chest. At that moment, Cameron realizes why so many people love their therapists. He'd always worried that Devin would get too weirded out by what happened when he was a teenager, that he would finally see all the skeletons in his closet. Neglectful, neglected, abusive, abused, and so hopelessly addicted. Just like his mother, the definition of trailer trash. Cameron was all those things at some point in his life, but he knows that doesn't matter to Devin. After a while, Devin lets go, and they start getting back into the Jeep, the bear feeling slightly shaky. Cameron opening up just now had been truly harrowing. Devin had known bits and pieces of the coyote's history, but to hear it like that, how he'd overdosed and almost... Dev shudders. He's just glad that the coyote is safe with him now, and out of that hellhole. As he's about to get in on his side of the Jeep, he stares out toward the town, just a mile or so away. While Cameron had told him that this had all made him feel better, Devin was feeling more conflicted than ever. Everything that Cameron had just told him practically screamed that this was a bad idea, that this wasn't good for him. Does it even matter what he thinks about Cameron's hallucinations? Or that his skimming of abnormal psychology literature about hallucinations led him to believe Cameron wasn't mentally ill? No, it doesn't. How could he take him to Echo after hearing that? How could he ever drag him into his endless hunt for the truth ever again? Yet, at the same time, Cameron's telling him he wants to do this. Dev looks over the hood at Cameron, tapping his blunt claws against the soft top of the Jeep. Hey Cam, what do you say we just keep going north? Check out Deseret? You know, see what Bonneville might be like. See what the Mormons are really like. That could be fun. While he says this, there's a crushing feeling in his chest, dreading that Cameron might say yes, but at the same time hoping that he will. I mean, with the way things are going, I don't even know if we'll be able to cross state lines in a few weeks. They're starting to shut everything down. But Cameron just stares back at him before smirking.
Oh no. This is something you've wanted to do for years. I mean, fuck me for dropping all that on you right before we got there, but you know I'm a procrastinator. I don't want you to feel guilty, but just be aware. And I kind of want to face my fears in a way, you know? I'm ready for this.
And before Devin can say anything else, Cameron gets back into the Jeep. Dev looks over at the lake, actually not sure what he's about to do. If he was a good boyfriend, he'd drive away from this place. Cameron would yell, curse, and moan about how it took them 10 hours to get there. And then Devin would have to shut him up with one of those sugary abominations from Starbucks. But then, he would never talk about Echo again. He would listen to Cameron and trust him about how it actually felt to see awful stuff. They'd move, get married, get a big house, and sooner or later, Dev would get his answer. Because everyone does in the end. As they pull out of the parking lot, he thinks he's made his decision. But even as he tells himself he's going to turn left, back up the road they came, he turns right. Because just before he did, in his mind's eye, he saw a flash of pink floating in the middle of a pond. And it's like someone hit him full force in the chest. And before he knows it, Echo is ahead of them. Welcome to the after reading. Anyone who sticks around for the after reading, where all the outtakes are, will hear me complain about Devin. I realize now that I didn't really understand his character at the time. I partially blame the confusing writing of this part of the visual novel. Those of you who saw my post on YouTube a few days ago, at least from the time of writing this, know that I wound up changing way more of the narration than I ever did for any single part of Ad Astra, just to have it make sense to me while I was reading it out loud. I feel like with the changes that I made, his character should be easier to understand by not just me but everybody. But just in case I'm wrong about that, let me just say that he's earned my respect as a character, and that happened the moment that he decided to leave Echo. If only the town hadn't decided he wasn't allowed to leave yet. That's a direct callback to Echo, where on several occasions the characters tried to leave, but would suddenly find themselves driving back into town without ever having made a turn. Among other things that I will not say here. You're not going to get any spoilers from me. Sure, he doesn't know the first thing about mental health, and he did what every anti-vaxxer and flat earther does and did his own research online by finding the loudest dissenting voices and assuming that since they have so many believers they couldn't be wrong. But as we find out from Cameron, he'd been intentionally left in the dark about the extent of Cameron's issues. Combine that with his own seemingly tragic motivation that the flash of pink floating in the water seemed to imply, it's actually pretty easy to see how he wound up believing what he does. People sometimes do dumb shit when they're grieving, and I feel like it's important to acknowledge that. So, no, I don't feel like Dev is a bad person. He's just misguided. But eventually he does make the correct decision to leave Echo and never mention it again. Before the town fucked with his agency anyway. Or at least those are my current thoughts on the bear, and my opinions may change again in the future. And now about Cameron. As someone who lived in a trailer for a while as a kid where I had nightly night terrors, and have struggled with my own mental health for most of my life as a gay person in this world, I can't help but relate to Cameron and his situation. Since becoming an adult and able to seek out my own mental help, I've been diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, depression, and trauma-induced OCD. And despite all that, I've been told by my therapist I'm still surprisingly functional. But that's all I'm going to say about that. I just figured I'd be upfront about it, as my own experiences will impact my reading of this story and these characters, and you all should know that. Cameron seems to have grown up in an environment where he didn't feel emotionally and/or physically safe, and he likely learned that he couldn't share his feelings with others. at least not with anyone who could actually make a difference. So he's likely developed a host of maladaptive coping mechanisms that may have worked well enough at certain times under very specific situations during his childhood development, but as an adult, will cause nothing but even more problems for him. His fear of being rejected by Devin hit particularly close to home. It's really difficult to open up and let someone else see just how damaged you are. And don't worry, if at any point in time I need to take a break due to the subject matter of this story, I will. Although I'm pretty confident that I won't need to. I wouldn't have decided to do this otherwise. You know, that's actually a good life lesson. Don't agree to do shit that might exacerbate underlying trauma. Just don't do it. Real strength is knowing your limitations and respecting them. So, final thoughts. I only remember the broad strokes of the story from the first time that I played Arches years ago, and I definitely hadn't connected with the characters like I'm doing now. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing how this horror story winds up playing out. And with that, I would like to thank my patrons for making sure that I didn't run out of beer during the making of this video. As for the rest of you, remember to give the video a like, share it with your fellow degenerates, and leave a comment for the oppressive YouTube algorithm. And fuck that hype button, what is that even doing there? Until next time, thanks for watching.
Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. I don't think I could do. Like, how do you do that?
Try just taking your fingers and jiggling your throat.
I think you could go a little slower.
I kind of like that. Especially with how heavy it's going to get in a little bit. It's like starting it off on a light note, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think
then bring them crashing down.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
Sorry. I was just... I'm going to be your psychic for the weekend. No.
Terrible idea. Terrible idea.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
No. I'm just saying, whether it's magic garments or prairie dresses, fuck that word. And I did some research on that forum you linked me to a few years back, so my sixth sex and I was on fucking ketamine. All the reason is there. Mostly the ketamine. So that's why I worry about following these patterns, even if it's just something looking like you are a falafel. So that's why I worry about.
Falafels are delicious.
I went into it way too quick after that. The second month after I met you, and I still she shit sometimes.
She shit?
She shit. Yeah, she shit.
She shit?
She shits on the seashore. Yeah, exactly. After I met you, and I still see shit sometimes.
If she shit. If she shat less, you'd see less of it.
Oh man, stop, Mom! Stop shitting under arches. Mom.
I know I say stupid shit about it, but I know it can be dangerous, and I'm always looking out for you.
Okay, real quick.
Is he
Devin.
really?
Real quick, Devin.
Is he really?
No, real quick, Devin. What does that mean?
I have no idea.
What does that mean exactly?
He's a terrible boyfriend. That's what that means.
I wouldn't let that happen to you. You don't have control over my man's mind, okay, Devin?
He thinks he does.
He thinks he does, but he don't.
He's like, hey, just stop being mentally unwell, sweetheart.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, is that what you're gonna do? Come on. Oh, Devin.
Don't bring your mentally ill boyfriend to a haunted town and ask him to be a psychic.
Right. That's just playing into delusions way too hard.
It's just a bad idea. And then when that boyfriend is telling you, hey, this is a bad idea for these reasons.
And hey, also my dad and my mom both had mental, illnesses just like this.
This coyote is one giant walking red flag, but then so is that bear.
Yeah, Devin might just be too stupid.
Yes, I think he
just might be lovably stupid.
I think he's just
he's
really
like,
dumb.
Like, hey, I'll just punch your mental illness, babe.
Because he's got that look on his face that's like, but he's supposed to go to like a decent college, so maybe he's one of those like smart guys that knows nothing about common sense.
Maybe his parents are just rich.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. Or I might just learn so much more about these characters and fall in love with them.
You might.
We'll see. Just in case even when I thought she was too absorbed, Whew.
Sweet boy.
We might need to get rid of this and replace it with the water.
Yeah, when recorded his narration for that one part, because it's the longest thing he ever did for me. He also brought a bottle of wine, and so I cracked that thing open, and I sat here on the counter, and we were just drinking the whole time, and with the editing, I got rid of like as much of the slurring and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, I could tell in the edit, like we were progressively getting more and more drunk as the editing was going on. Where by the end, I'm like, oh boy, I'm in the background and I can hear myself slurring my words. I'm like, we did just kill a whole bottle of wine in like an hour.
Yeah. I mean, fuck me for dropping all that on you right before we got there, but you know I'm a procrastinator. That's pretty funny.
Okay. That really flavors his character really well.
Oh yeah, the 180.
Yeah.
The 180. It's like, oh hey, I finally just dumped all this stuff on you about my life.
This is why what you're doing is a terrible idea, but I also know you've wanted to do this terrible idea for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And I'm here for it.
Thank God they have some comedy relief here.
Yeah. We did it!
We're here.
Yes.
Oh, so we can end it like right
I'm
here.
Gonna save
Echo
it.
is ahead of that.
And then I'm going to rewind it to the very beginning, and we can redo those first few lines if you're still feeling game.
Those first few? Heck yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the first episode of Arches. It's only 2 syllables, so it's kind of hard to make it sound epic. Welcome to Arches. Now that sounded like too much energy for how